Okay, the Premier League is finally back, and I am going to try to predict literally everything. I'm going to do a full table, and then I'm going to do some seasonal awards at the end. 20th, I have Burnley. This Scott Parker team, I think, is just a bit too slow and a bit too shallow for the Premier League at the moment. I don't think they've brought in enough players. I really fear for Scott Parker here. I think he might be gone by Christmas. It could be scary for him. 19th, I have Wolves. Yet again, I just don't see the quality in this squad. Other than Strand Larson, I really don't see where anything is coming from. I hope they prove me wrong, I just really don't see where the goals are coming from. 18th, Brentford. There are just way too many key pieces gone. Mbuemo, Norgard, potentially Visa on the way out, as well as their true keystone, Thomas Frank, leaving for Spurs. I just don't think the replacements are good enough, and I think disaster is written all over this team. 17th, Sunderland. I think they're just going to end up buying their way out of the relegation zone. They've spent over 150 million euro, and I don't even think they're done. Kind of reminds me a little bit of how Nottingham Forest have done their business recently. They might have some trouble at the start. Maybe their team chemistry is lacking a little bit, but I think they'll sort it out. Xhaka is a good signing, not necessarily on the pitch, but I think in the locker room and for team morale, I think that's a great signing. 16th, my team, Leeds United. They're just going to scrape by. Almost sacked Daniel Farke in the offseason. There's a potential where we sack him mid-season. Ellen Road, I think, is going to be our fortress this season. We are going to pick up a lot of wins, a lot of draws, good results at Ellen Road, and that is the key to us staying up. And also, near the end of the season, our schedule is actually pretty favorable. So down the stretch, even if we're struggling, we'll have the opportunity to lift ourselves. 15th, Fulham. I mean, just a solid team, but I mean, the quality kind of limits them. I don't see them going any lower. I don't see them going any higher. They're a good team, but this is really the ceiling. 14th, West Ham. I like a lot of the pieces in this team. I really think the inconsistency for them is going to be their struggle, as well as a lack of creativity. I like Bowen, but I don't think he can do it all on his own. I think that's just what's going to keep them here. 13th, Bournemouth. They've just lost, again, too many key players, especially on the defensive line, and I just don't think the replacements are there. They're still a good team, but they're not going to sniff where they were last season. 12, Nottingham Forest. Last season was a purple patch. This will be a return to the norm for Nottingham Forest. I think their lack of depth and also having to play midweek is going to be a problem for them. I like Ndoye. He's a good signing, but losing Elanga and Danilo, two huge pieces to this team, is really tough. 11th, I have Everton. I really like what David Moyes is doing here. And also, I mean, signing Grealish on a loan could give them a nice early season boost. 10th, Manchester United. No, this isn't a rivalry thing, okay? I know I'm a Leeds guy. There's no bias, okay? No bias. But this is just the new normal for them now. They're a mid-table team. You can't tell me otherwise. I like the transfers they've done. Mbuemo, Sesko, possibly Baleba as well. These are some great signings. I just think the manager is a little bit out of his depth here still. 10th, honestly, I think it's their ceiling. 9 is Newcastle. Now, their transfer window has been an absolute disaster. I don't think they've brought in enough quality players to compete both in the league and in Europe. It's not good enough, and the Isak situation is just a complete mess. I'll probably get into that a little bit later. Absolute disaster for Newcastle. Number 8, I have Tottenham Hotspur. I really, really like Thomas Frank. Obviously, coming from Brentford, he's going to bring his tactics. He's going to bring his man management. I really like what Tottenham's doing. I really like their signings as well. Mohamed Kudus from West Ham is a great signing to replace Son in the attack. That James Maddison injury is so unlucky. I actually had them one spot higher, but that James Maddison injury is so tough. If they end up getting Eze, then this may be a different story. As of right now, they do not have him, so I have them 8th. Number 7 is Crystal Palace. This is my surprise pick of the season. Definitely an overachieving team this season. I really like what they've built. Oliver Glasner has done a fantastic job. Won the FA Cup. They should be in the Europa League, but they got absolutely scammed out of a spot in the Europa League. If they end up losing Eze or Gehi, I think they could finish as low as 10th, but right now I think they will finish in 7th. They're going to surprise a lot of teams. Number 6, I have Brighton. They're just too consistent. I know they've lost some key pieces like Joao Pedro, but I mean, these guys, they've been doing this year after year where they lose huge players and then replace them with players that are just as good, if not better. And I don't expect that to change anytime soon. Number 5, I have Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa are kind of the best of the rest here. I really like what Emery is doing. I think they're going to do really good in Europe this season in the Europa League. Number 4, I have Manchester City. Now, between 5th and 4th place, I think there's a bit of a tier break. I think the top 4 teams are pretty interchangeable. I think that's going to be really close. It's not going to be like last season. It's not going to be a runaway title. It's not going to be over by Christmas. This is going to be down to the wire. Could be down to the last few match weeks. City will be challenging for a title coming down the home stretch, but I think they might shift their attention to European competition late in the season. And I think they're going to struggle defensively, so I have them finishing in 4th. They might score a lot of goals, but they're going to concede as well. So I have them finishing in 4th. 3rd, I have Arsenal. Now, the big thing for Arsenal, they're a great team, don't get me wrong. Fantastic team. It's just the pressure that is on this team and on this coach by the fans and the media is just going to be too high. They're going to be let down again. They're going to not even finish 2nd. They're going to finish 3rd. Now, who do I have lifting the trophy at the end of the season? Last 2 teams. I have Chelsea left and I have Liverpool left. In 2nd, I have Chelsea. They have the talent. This Enzo Maresca team has proven to us that they're good enough to challenge for trophies. But I think it's their consistency that will let them down. They're going to be battling in Europe. They're going to be fighting for a Champions League spot. They have the depth. They have the quality. At the end of the day, it's the consistency that really bothers me about this team. Specifically Cole Palmer. I think he's a very icy hot player. And I think that's going to really let them down this year. And that means I have Liverpool repeating as champions of England. The attacking threats that this team has. They haven't even signed an Isak yet. That's not even done. Who's had a better transfer window than Liverpool? I'm sorry, but every single transfer, in my opinion, is kind of a slam dunk. This team was the best last year, and they improved more than every other team. So, to me, this is a no-brainer. I have Liverpool winning this one. Okay, on to some of the individual season awards. Golden Boot, I have Erling Haaland. I just think this guy is so dominant. Even if City finish in 4th, this guy is going to get goals. He's an absolute machine. He's not going to slow down at all. Golden Glove, I have David Raya for Arsenal. And honestly, I could potentially see Arsenal not even getting the most clean sheets. But with City and Liverpool both rotating goalkeepers, I could see David Raya kind of sneaking into this award. Player of the season, I mean, this is a no-brainer for me. This is Florian Wirtz. I already think he's the best player in the Premier League, and he hasn't even played a game yet. The creativity this guy has, he is an absolute game changer. He is world-class, and he is going to be at the heart of this Liverpool title push. Young Player of the Season. Now, this is a fun one because there are a lot of players that could win this one. And I'm going to try to say his name right, but this is a young striker, Charalampos Kostoulas. I've probably butchered that. But young Greek striker for Brighton. They have paid 35 million euros for him. I have this guy ahead of some of the other players such as Estevao, Bergval, Sesko, Lewis Skelly, simply because the only competition that he really has is Danny Welbeck, and if he can get past him in the pecking order, this guy has the potential to absolutely explode. The Brighton scouts absolutely love him. Keep an eye out for Kostoulas. Playmaker of the season. Now, I'll be honest, I don't want to give Florian Wirtz every single award here, so I'm going to hedge my bet a little bit and go with Bukayo Saka for this one. He's just way too consistent and way too influential to this Arsenal team. With an introduction of a new goal scorer in Gyökeres, I think that combo could go nuclear. Best transfer, now I have to give this one to Florian Wirtz. I'm sorry, I have to. I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. He's generational talent. It seems like he's already adapted really fast to this Arne Slot system, and he's going to be the centerpiece to this Liverpool attack. Some honorable mentions, though, I will say, if Baleba can get a deal done with Manchester United, he's going to be fantastic. They need a midfielder so desperately, and he will slot in perfectly. I mean, Joao Pedro for Chelsea as well. We already saw what he did in the Club World Cup. Tijani Reinders as well, same thing. I mean, fantastic player. He's filling the shoes of Kevin De Bruyne. Can he do it? I think he can. It's a whether of can he reach his potential. Mohamed Kudus as well for Tottenham. He's played fantastic in the preseason. I thought he played really good in the Super Cup. They were unlucky not to win that against PSG. And I think with Son out the door, it leaves room for an attacker to really fill the role of true goal-scoring threat for Tottenham. In terms of some transfer flops, one that's staring me in the face is Noni Madueke to Arsenal. It's a head-scratcher of a transfer in my opinion. I think there's a lot of talent there. I just don't know about the form and the consistency, and the end product I don't really think is quite there. Unless he makes a really big jump, I don't see him really living up to that price tag. Also, Jeremy Frimpong. I mean, I love Jeremy Frimpong as a player. I just don't know if he's going to be able to fit in this Liverpool system quite well. I think the fans could potentially turn on him when they see that he's not potentially the best defender. And when they're coming off a Trent Alexander-Arnold where they were already complaining about his defensive lacks, this isn't an upgrade when it comes to defending with Jeremy Frimpong. He's an amazing attacker. He's going to support Salah fantastic. But just maybe pump the brakes a little bit on Jeremy Frimpong. Also, Victor Gyökeres, I have to say this because there is a big potential for him to flop. I mean, I don't think it will happen, but I'm just saying this in case it does. I think he will score goals, guaranteed. It's just a whether of how many he scores and if he lives up to the hype that Arsenal fans and media have been giving him. And I think there's a lot of pressure on him to score goals. That could impact him a little bit. Some storylines to keep an eye out on. I have some underachievers, some overachievers. On the team side of things, some underachievers. I mean, it's got to be Newcastle. They've set the bar high for the last couple of years. I really think they take a step back this year. They're going to be in Europe. The Isak situation as well. He's a brilliant player. But the way that he's dealt with this transfer stuff with Liverpool, it's so toxic to the dressing room. I don't see how Newcastle gets off on the right foot. I think they're going to have a slow start. I don't know if they'll be able to recover. And I think if Isak stays at Newcastle, he might not even play at all this season. Some of the overachievers, Crystal Palace in 7th, they're going to be fantastic. Again, Oliver Glasner, big fan of him. They've been building this team up for a few seasons now, and I really like watching them play. Their transition game is fantastic. The chemistry they have in midfield is amazing. As for players to keep an eye on, you got to keep an eye on Cody Gakpo. I think with Diaz leaving for Bayern, this attack for Liverpool, I think all of them are going to score goals. But I think the biggest beneficiary of this is Cody Gakpo, and he is probably going to hit double digits in goals and assists, if I was to guess. For bounce back team, I have Tottenham Hotspur. Again, I'll compliment Thomas Frank. As long as they can keep their injuries in check, I think they'll be fine. As for some bounce back players, I have 2 written down. I have Foden and Grealish. Both last year really quiet seasons at Man City. I mean, Foden, he's just too good to have 2 bad seasons in a row, in my opinion. And also Jack Grealish, I mean, a new start really at Everton. I think he could really take over that team. We've already seen in the past where he's the main guy. He can really just take over games. As for manager of the season, I think if Palace end up getting 7th, it has to be Oliver Glasner. But I will say kind of a dark horse for David Moyes. Zero pressure on him to perform. We've seen him do stuff like this at West Ham, and I think he's going to get something out of Everton this season. As for the first manager sacked, I think it's going to be Keith Andrews at Brentford. I think the wheels are going to start coming off a bit early in the season, and I feel like management could panic a little bit, and he could be gone by Christmas. Daniel Farke as well for Leeds. I mean, we are almost sacked him in the summer. If we do not start well, I could easily see him leaving before Christmas as well. That's what I got for the predictions. Liverpool champions, City in 4th, Newcastle sliding, Palace flying. Let me know what I got wrong, what I got right. And yeah, Premier League starts on Friday. We'll be there.